I am kind of out of breath right now. It's because I just got out of the theater for Detroit, and wow, this is an incredible movie. Detroit stars John Boyega, Will Poulter, John Krasinski, and Anthony Mackie, and it centers around the titular city and it focuses on the Algiers Motel incident in the city in 1967, but also focuses on the race riots that were going on around the time. Starting off, what makes this movie so groundbreaking and incredible is its depiction. It's realistic, but depiction of just police brutality and race relations in America that are still relevant. Although this happened in a post-civil rights segregation period, it's still, the dialogue perfectly fleshes out how relevant of a movie this is. So much of the police dialogue, as far as assuming someone's a criminal just because they're black, painting their own white police officers, painting their own version of a story to justify their innate racism. So many pieces of dialogue perfectly encapsulate the fear it can be being black in America, because it immediately, in many cases, just puts a target on your back, and this movie does such a good job showing it. This movie is not an easy watch. Getting that out there right now. It is very difficult. Not since 12 Years a Slave has there been a movie that I literally had to hold my breath, I had to gasp, I was gasping throughout, and I was holding my sides, because honestly, this movie, especially if you're a person of color, this movie will disturb you, and on a level beyond the average non-black moviegoer. This movie is disturbing on many levels because of the gruesome imagery and the realistic depiction of police brutality. It definitely is tough to get through in that sense, but definitely important in the same vein to stick through and watch this movie. Another thing that's awesome about this movie is its cast. Its cast is awesome. John Boyega, who got his fame from starring as Finn in Star Wars The Force Awakens, he was amazing in this movie. He plays a security guard who basically looks out for the little guy, and of course he's always patronized by his white cohorts. He's always called Uncle Tom, although he's just looking out for his black brothers and sisters. He was great in this movie. He gives such a grounded and real performance. What's also amazing about this movie, besides its cast and its themes, is it definitely takes place. It's very descriptive in the scenes with the race riots, not just the Algiers Motel incident, I already described briefly. It's very good at depicting the riots. The rioting scenes were done really well, in that it paints such a vivid picture of what it was like, about the people running and shouting, Molotov cocktails, buildings being burned ablaze everywhere, people robbing, stealing stores, getting into fights with the police, innocent bystanders just being clubbed to death in the street. This movie does an amazing job just immersing you from the get-go in this situation. I also like how it was filmed as sort of a mixture, and as a mixture of a documentary and like a real-time film, because it's constantly immerses you via pictures and recordings from the 60s, from the actual riots and incidents into the narrative. So a riot will happen, an incident will happen, and you see the characters, the officers in the movie explaining it, but you also get pictures and recordings from the actual event. It made it really easy to understand, and it was very informative. I love how informative this movie was. I also love how this movie just takes place, and it focuses on a Motown group, a Motown singing group, and it uses that to give the film a great score, and it also humanizes the actual people. This movie does kind of focus on the Algiers Motel incident, but it also uses characters. It weaves characters in and out of the narrative to make it really personal. You can connect to so many characters in the actual incident because the movie focuses on their story within the greater picture. Guys, I don't know what more to say. There's not much to spoil plot-wise because it's a national historical event, but all I had to say is go see Detroit. This film is amazing. It's so important. It's still socially relevant. And I'm kind of blown away right now. I wasn't ready. This is not an easy watch. This is not a popcorn flick. This is not something to go see your friends if you just want to just have a good time at the movies. You need to lock in and just immerse yourself in what this movie is trying to say. And it was shocking, but I was one of two of the only people in the theater that were under 30. 97%, the rest of the theater were middle-aged to senior citizens, which makes sense, but it's really sad to me just thinking about the fact that people my age this weekend, they're going to see The Dark Tower. They're not going to watch this amazing movie, this amazing, heartfelt, brutal, and gruesome movie that's so realistic, and it depicts how black people are treated in this nation, and I'm lost for words. If I had to point a small criticism is that, yes, the movie gets into the extended motel sequence, which is about 20 to 30 minutes long. It's intense, it's violent, it's brutal. You really feel for the people involved, because what makes it so frightening is because of how realistic it is. You can't just watch this and be like, oh yeah, this is overdone because this is a movie. If you've watched the news in the last couple of years, if you know what a reality police brutality is in America, that's what makes it so frightening, that it's actually a reality. But if I had to point out a flaw in this movie is post the Algiers motel incident, the movie's aftermath kind of drags in the last 45 minutes of the movie after the motel incident. But besides that, this is still a very well done movie, very surreal, very terrifying, but very well done. I'm going to give Detroit 4.5 stars out of 5. Please go see this. Do not take your kids to see this just to educate them, because you'll probably scar them for life. But please go see this movie if you are able. Please support this movie. This movie didn't have a lot of press. I hardly saw a trailer. I didn't really know anything going into it. This movie definitely needs more attention. Spread the word amongst your friends, and definitely go see this movie. If you like this review, if you like this video, please drop a like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Tell me what you thought about the movie, and also subscribe to my channel as well. I'm Pac. Thanks so much for hearing my perspective, and I'm out for now.